What's up guys? Today I'm testing a yet to be released, premium, upgraded version of the Sweetheart Storm, designated the 2.0 Plus. In fact, I have two of them here, one with a short CQB barrel installed and one with a longer sniper barrel. There's currently only 6 of these in existence in the world, and because of the velocity limits on blasters in China, Yan, or Mr. Sweetheart, the creator of this blaster, can't legally test these himself. So that's where I'm helping out. Yan literally packaged up what was sitting on his workbench and shipped it off to Australia to be tested. Both of these blasters were imported for me by a new online store called Foamwork Adelaide. If you've ever attended an Adelaide Nerf event, you probably know Jay, who runs the store. He also runs the dart hire at Adelaide Nerf events. Foamwork are the licensed distributor in Australia, and they'll be offering a pre-order of the standard 2.0 and eventually this 2.0 Plus in limited quantities when it's ready. I'll leave a link down below. Compared to the standard version, the Plus has a 50:1 gear ratio instead of 27:1. That allows it to use a much heavier spring and hit a velocity of 300 feet per second with a full auto rate of fire of 7 rounds per second. The standard version, on the other hand, shoots a lower 240 feet per second, but with a 27:1 gear ratio, it achieves a much faster cyclic rate of 12 darts per second. So I think it's possible some people may still prefer that over this Plus version. It's a bit of a trade-off between feet per second and rate of fire. The 2.0 Plus has printed nylon external parts instead of resin for added durability. I have heard of some users receiving their early models of the Storm with cracked parts, so I think nylon is a step in the right direction. The Plus also has a prototype anodized aluminium handguard, which matches perfectly with the cylindrical main body of the blaster. It has M-lock slots all over it, which makes it very easy to attach compatible hardware like a flashlight or Picatinny rails. At the front, I have Monkey Mods barrels installed because the Sweetheart ones are actually still in production. There will be both a 13mm by 400mm barrel and a 13 by 200mm barrel shipped with the blaster, and they'll both have a much nicer fit and a green anodized color to them compared to the Monkey Mods ones. The 2.0 Plus, in addition to its longer metal handguard, will also include a short CQB front end for when using the shorter barrel. It has a nice hand stop on the bottom too. At the front of both blasters, I have a bearing scar rifling attachment provided by Jay at Foamwork Adelaide, which I'll link to down below if you want one of these. They have a total of 20 bearings in groups of 5, and they are a nice snug fit onto the outer barrel, secured by 3 grub screws. Up top, the blaster has Picatinny rail, where I'll be mounting a red dot sight and RunCam 2 scope cam for all of my gameplay footage. Now, something big about the Storm, unlike other AEGs on the market, it takes worker Talon mags, so that's the mags pretty much everyone already owns, rather than using a proprietary magazine. The mag fitment is a little bit tight, so you do have to pull on the mag when you want to remove it, but I'll show you why that is in a second. The biggest feature of the Storm though is that it uses a camshaft drive. That's what makes this blaster so reliable and robust compared to other Nerf AEGs. The motor and gears are decoupled from the pusher, which has its own spring to hold it closed for a perfect air seal when you pull the trigger. It's this spring on the pusher fitting through the mag lips of the worker Talon mags that unfortunately prevents gravity dropping the mag. But it does mean if you get a jammed dart, it won't do any damage at all to the blaster, and with such a light spring holding it closed, it's no trouble at all to remove the stuck dart. I do think the process could be a little simpler though if there was a handle to pull the pusher back manually to unjam. It's a little inconvenient needing a barrel clearing rod to push it open. However, after using this for an entire day of gameplay, I never had a single jam. The Storm uses an airsoft or gel blaster style M4 AEG motor grip, despite there being no motor inside it. This means you can customize your grip to whatever style you like. Retail versions from Foamwork Adelaide will come with a grip like the one here on my CQB config, but of course you can just buy your own grip and swap it out. Above the grip, there's a 3-position toggle switch, and the function of the fire control unit differs quite a bit on the 2.0 Plus model. It of course has full auto like all the other Storms out there, and I can select that with the forward position on the toggle. But something none of the other models have yet is semi-auto, which I can select in the middle position. When you're done using the blaster for the day, switch it to the rear off position with a dart in the chamber and just fire the blaster to deprime it for storage. From there, you would just disconnect the battery and pack it away. The battery itself is stored in a compartment at the lower rear of the blaster. Just loosen the thumb screw and the cover slides forward and off. The Storm uses an XT30 connector, but it comes with an XT30 to XT60 adapter if you prefer to use XT60 LiPos. The 2.0 Plus requires a 14.8 volt battery or 4-cell LiPo, while the 2.0 can actually get away with using an 11.1 volt or a 14.8 if you want a higher cyclic rate. Coming to the rear of the blaster, the buttstock is non-adjustable unfortunately. The Storm is a one-size-fits-all blaster aside from the customizable front end. Another handy feature added in this model is dry fire prevention. Jay provided me with 4 magnets to install into the follower of my Talon mags. The process is actually pretty simple and I recorded the whole thing for you. Alright, so installing the magnet into a worker Talon mag is pretty simple. Got a brand new fresh Talon mag right here. Simply grab a flathead screwdriver and push down the tabs on this side and on that side to remove the base. Easy. Pull the follower and spring out. Undo the screw on the follower that holds the spring on. Grab your little handy box of tricks that comes with the blaster. And from in here we need to grab one of these green pieces and one of the magnets. If this is your first mag, it's going to be a 50-50 guessing game of whether you get this round the right way or not, but if you already have a mag, the magnets should repel each other if they're round the right way. So just push this into the green piece. It holds nice and snugly. Then line it up with the follower and put the screw and the spring back in. Finally, when you put this back in the mag, the magnet needs to be at the back of the mag where the catch is. And then put the base back on, it only goes around one way. Lovely. With the magnet installed, when I fire the last shot of the mag, the blaster can detect the magnet to know the mag's empty. And it will prevent me from firing the blaster until a fresh mag is inserted. Considering the 2.0 Plus pushes the Storm to the absolute limit of what it's capable of, I really like the idea of a dry fire prevention mechanism because the stronger spring does put a lot more strain on the blaster compared to the standard 2.0 version. Now for some basic maintenance tips for the blaster, there's a Delrin ball which you should replace every 2,000 shots or so. That just requires you to undo a few screws on the side to get to. I believe that 2,000 shot rating is without oiling the rod that it runs along either, so perhaps keeping it oiled and maintained would help it last even longer. The Storm comes with a generous amount of lube in the plunger tube out of the box, but like any other Springer, you probably should add some more over time. Perhaps when you grab for the balls, also grab for the lube as well. That pretty much covers my overview of the Storm 2.0 Plus, so now let's do what you all came here to see. And that of course is the testing. First of all, I'll be firing the 40cm barrel over my chronograph to get the velocity readings using worker bamboo darts.
291, 294, 296, 286, 292, 280, 296, 294, 296, 286, 302, 284, 294, 276, and that's the 14th shot, and it always wants to keep one shot in it. So now if I put it on the final setting, remove the magazine, I can fire the 15th shot. 278.
Worker bamboos in the sniper config got a high of 302, low of 276, average of 289, and a standard deviation of 7.6. So now let's see the tiny little 20cm CQB barrel.
210, 205, 204, 218, 219, 210, 210, 219, 213, 218, 222, 222 again, 220, 228, that's the highest one from it so far. And again, the final shot. Oh, I must have had 2 left in it. I'll just call that 226.
The CQB barrel got a high of 228, low of 204, and an average of 216, with a standard deviation of 7.2. Both barrels with worker bamboo darts were very consistent in velocity. Now I'll quickly show you the full auto rate of fire with the Plus's 50:1 gear ratio. To empty a full mag of 15 shots takes 2.1 seconds, so it fires 7 rounds per second. With the standard version and its 27:1 gear ratio, it shoots about 12 rounds per second, I'm told. Finally, let's see how accurate it is in combination with the bearing scar barrel that Foamwork Adelaide provided for me.
Alright, I'm going to aim at the skull at the top of the target. Hit. 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 And for our 15th shot, do need to remove the mag because it has the magnetic stop. Hit. So this is definitely as accurate as any manual springer. It's just cocking the spring automatically for you between shots.
At a distance of 30 meters, the spread is 50 centimeters tall and 20 centimeters wide. That actually tells me that this bearing scar is excellent, because the main variation in spread would be from the velocity differences shot to shot, causing the darts to land higher or lower. A huge benefit of a spread shape like this is that humans are generally taller than they are wide, so this blaster is incredibly good at hitting enemy players. But after using the blaster for the day, what do I think of it? Well, comparing this to the AEG blasters that came before it, the QWK Challenger and Edge, the WASP 76, I don't think it's actually fair on those blasters to even mention their names. The Sweetheart Storm is in a league above all of them. The best thing I could actually compare it to is the Milsig M79 HPA blaster. But with that, you have to either buy CO2 canisters, which are expensive, or pay to get air tanks refilled, which is a little bit cheaper but also expensive. With the Sweetheart Storm, all you need to do is charge a battery and you're good to go. It's also far easier to get good accuracy and consistency out of this blaster than the Milsig M79 due to its massive burst pressure. If I had to choose between the Milsig or this, I'd be happy to use either, but when weighing up the pros and cons of each, it'll come down to personal preference given the similar base price. If you want to pick up the current Storm 2.0 from an Australian retailer, check out the links down below. Also, this Plus model will be coming sometime in the future, so keep an eye out. That's all I have for you today. Consider leaving a like and subscribing. Here's 2 other videos you might enjoy, and as always, thanks for watching. See ya.